Hello everyone, Impiator here, and welcome back to my Newcomer's Guide for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This is part 23. So in the last episode, we made it through the rest of the Harada Estate Revisited version, and we have finished off Owl, the father version specifically, and now we're about to head to the final boss of the game. Now I should warn you up front, this is a 4-phase boss. It is difficult. I would say it's probably the most difficult fight that we've faced up to this point. If you are unable to learn the deflections and figure out which attacks you need to worry the most about, this can basically end up being an endurance fight. So as long as you have enough healing gourds and healing items, you might be able to just get through it purely on luck. In fact, I did that for my first several playthroughs of the game. I beat him on luck. I beat him on luck and just having enough healing items available to me. So if you want to try for that, you got Divine Grass at this point. You should have Sweet Rice Balls at this point. This is the end of the game. It's time to use all the crap that you've been collecting. Otherwise, though, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what the first phase is. We'll talk about the second phase once we get there. But in the first phase, we're going to be against Genichiro, and he's basically the same boss, but he has his own version of Mortal Draw now, because he has the other Mortal Blade. So he'll either hit you with it once or twice. We're going to circle around his side to make sure that we don't get hit by it, and we're going to try to get him with an Ichimonji double if he looks like he's only going to do one attack with it. So if you completely go around him, he will hit you with it twice. If you only go around him a little bit, he will only use it once. So ideally we want him to use it once, then we want to Ichimonji double him from kind of his back, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock or so. So we could do something like that if possible. Otherwise, his other major change is whenever he does the jump attack where he jumps into the air, flips, and comes down with his sword, he will often follow that up with a very heavy slash that will leave you a little unprotected. And so I generally recommend that we simply dodge out of the way instead of catching the downward attack like we have in the past. So let's go ahead and proceed. I'll talk about the other phases as we reach them. Remember, by the way, that you also have the reflection of strength, so you could reface a previous version of him as well. So that's what we're going to want to go for. Hop onto his head. Avoid that. That's the attack we want to avoid. I did not avoid that, like I probably should have. But that's okay, he's dead. Okay, so phase 2. In the first phase of the Isshin boss fight, what we're looking for him to do is the Ashina Cross. If you've not obtained that combat art yet, the way that the Ashina Cross works is he will sheath his sword, and then he will unsheath it and do a cross attack very, very quickly. And we want to bait him into doing that attack whenever possible. Because what's going to happen is, if you are close enough to him, he will cancel out of that attack, and then he will hit you, followed by a horizontal sweeping attack that's a perilous. So we want to deflect that that attack that he does whenever he interrupts his Ashina Cross, and then we want to pounce on his head. After we pounce on his head, we're going to want to come down with some mid-air attacks, and then we're going to end up slashing him until he deflects. At that point, he's going to swing back twice, and then we want to deflect both of those, or block them, and then we want to make sure that we are swinging back after the second attack. And then, once he deflects our attacks, at that point, he's going to do 2 thrusts. He's going to do a normal thrust that is not a perilous attack, and we can either block or deflect that. Oftentimes I fail to deflect it, no big deal, but he will then follow it up with a Mikiri counterable Perilous Thrust. And if you're able to deflect each of these attacks, you can do around 70% of his, of his posture meter in basically 5 seconds of time. So very, very efficient way to deal with this fight. Otherwise, we want to block or avoid everything else he has, pretty much. He also has some wind-up attacks, so we'll actually get the wind-up attacks whenever we are finishing this boss fight. But he can do one that sends basically 2 waves, kind of an up and down wave, straight in front of him. And then he'll also end up doing a horizontal one as well. And then in later versions of this fight, later forms anyway, he'll do kind of a diagonal slash, a double diagonal slash as well. And those send waves at you that you want to avoid too. Otherwise, this first phase should not be that difficult, but I would not recommend Ichimonji double against him unless you are able to get behind him. For example, following one of those straight on charge up attacks. So, and usually he'll only do that whenever you're a little farther away from him. So there's the attack we want. Jump on his head, come down, attack him, let him get in one swing, and there he goes. That's what we're looking for. So that we can Ichimonji him. He's doing it again. Jump on his head, come down, slash twice, let him do the attack, and we got him. So get behind him, you can get in a couple of cheap shots if you're lucky. Otherwise, what we're looking for now is a prayer. That's for sure. Whenever he does this, hold out the umbrella, wait for him to shoot you, and then whenever he lands, hit him with that. Catch that. And then we're going to back off again. Get him to come to us. If he fires before he reaches you, back off. So that is not the attack combination we want him to do. Okay, that's an opportunity. Catch that, get in a couple of swings, back off. And we're going to rinse and repeat. Run away from him, make him come to us. That we want to run away from. You can deflect it, but the timing for it is tight. Oh, we got hit. I was hoping to catch that. Oh well. Oh, I was trying for that. Oh, I should have been there to catch that. Alright, that is not the attack combo we want, because he only hit us once with the gun. And that's not the combo we want either. That's something we want, though. 4 shots. Hit him with that. Nice. Back off. That's not the combo we want, so run away from him. Oh, he's about to do a slash. There we go. Yeah, if you recognize the attacks that cause him to do a, what do you call it? Or make him open from a carry counter, make use of them. 4 shots. Hit him with that. And we got his second phase. So, his last phase is basically the same, except his charge-up slashes, he now has a horizontal charge-up slash. So you're going to want to be careful about that. Dodge to the right, I would say, for that. And we're mainly looking for him to do his jump into the air and hit you with lightning attacks, because we can deflect the lightning back to him just like we did with Genichiro. So that's going to be your best bet. Otherwise, we are looking still for the thrust attacks that we can Mikiri counter. That's going to end in a thrust. There we go. Back off for that. That's the horizontal one. By the way, I do not recommend Ichimonji him. He tends to be very fast about his response for it. See what I mean? But you can give it a try. Again, that usually ends in a thrust attack. Here he goes. Oh, how did I not get that? He's so damn close, too. Alright, that was unfair. That should have been an almost hitless. But hey, that'll do it. So he wants you to kill him at this point. We're going to oblige. And that, everybody, is going to complete the final boss of this game. So now we get memory. We're going to get some more attack power from that. We get Dragon Flash. Let me show you what this looks like. This is freaking cool. So we also got the Gauntlet of Strength now unlocked. We'll talk about what that is here in a minute. We got another Gauntlet of Strength. Oh, that's right. We're going to have to leave the fight in order to actually demo the cool ability that we just got. That's not cool. There we go. So we got that now, which is freaking cool. Alright, so we have finished the final boss of the game, and all that's left is basically to talk to Kuro and pick our ending. However, this is the time for us to go ahead and talk about what to do from here. First things first, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves an enhancement of our attack power. Now, our attack power is at 14 currently. 15 is actually the soft cap for the game, so after that you get diminishing returns on your actual damage output. In fact, you're only going to double your damage all the way from 15 to 99. So I wouldn't worry too much about using skill points to enhance your attack power. unless you've already gotten every single ability in the game and you just have nothing else to spend your skill points on. Otherwise, at this stage, some things that you can go ahead and do are going to be the Reflection of Strength. You can fight all of the previous bosses. In addition, they have divided the Genichiro fight and the Isshin fight into 2 separate fights, so you can fight them independently in order to learn their fights easier at this point if you want to. In addition to that, we now have the Gauntlet of Strength, and the way that the Gauntlet of Strength works is you have 3 boss fights that you have to do in succession. So you're going to fight, in this case, Gyobu first, and it's basically the reflection version, so he does a lot of damage, and you are capped on your actual attack power for that phase of the game. You'll then fight Lady Butterfly, and then the hidden fight is actually going to be against Inner Genichiro. And Inner Genichiro is a much harder version of the normal Genichiro because he has new attacks, new strategies that you have to perform against him, and that's going to be the same thing for the Gauntlet of Strength as well. In this case, you have quite a few more fights to deal with. Long story short, though, one nice thing about these fights is you do get to rest after each fight. It's just that if you die, you have to start the entire gauntlet over again. So you can rest, regain all your stuff, regain your levels, your items if you want to. So rest in between the fights, and as long as you don't die, you will continue to progress through each Gauntlet of Strength. So those are each going to unlock a separate fight. So the Reflection of Strength will get longer because there will be the inner version that you unlock as well. And you basically have to reach, but you don't have to defeat the inner version. So if you reach, for example, this fight here, and you're like, oh my god, I can't beat this guy, but I don't like having to go through these other 2 fights first. Don't worry about it. Because what'll happen is once you face him once and you lose, it'll add it to your Reflections of Strength, and you can fight that fight independently until you have succeeded. So you just have to reach the inner fights before they get added to your Reflections of Strength. Now, at this phase, it's going to be a good idea for us to go ahead and buy out all the vendors' worth of stuff, because it is going to be a while, and again, all of that will reset in a New Game Plus. So if there's any upgrades that you want to buy, now is the time to do it as well. I'm going to go ahead and sell all of my coin purses and heavy coin purses at this point. If there's any items that you don't use very often, you can sell those too for money. Otherwise, though, let's go ahead and purchase. He doesn't have any items other than these 3 items that I'm not going to worry about since I've already done these. So everything else he has can be bought en masse. So we're going to go to the Memorial Mob in the outskirts. I never accessed the stairway. That's interesting. We'll have to do that real quick. So there is a idol that you can still access there at the stairway. I apparently didn't access it in my Demon of Hatred episode. So I'm just going to make a run through this area, go get that save point. Or idol, I should say. Hey, item. Ah, bah. As you can see, they partly blocked off the way to get to it, which is why I didn't remember to grab it earlier. Okay, so we're going to go visit the memorial mob and go ahead and buy up whatever is left from him. Let's see. He has light coin purses. Nothing else. For homeward idle out. But of course, gotta be seen by an enemy while I'm trying to teleport. I was about to say, y'all gonna let me get away from here? Alright, so now we're going to head to Isshin Castle, and we'll go to the abandoned dungeon entrance. Be aware, by the way, that the door has now been locked, so whenever we first came here, went through here, I believe the guard that was here locked the door, so we won't be able to progress from here back to the castle anymore. Which is kind of strange. I never noticed that, I think, in my previous playthrough until I tried it in kind of my side playthrough. So he's got contact medicine, dragon's blood droplet, those are always nice to have. He's got coin purses. How much contact medicine do we have? We have 23. We don't need any more than that. We don't hardly use that at all anyway. So we can travel over to Senpu Temple. We'll do Shingendo. Because there is one down here. Another dragon's blood droplet. Some Akko sugars. We'll buy those. And Go sugars. We'll buy those. 5 colored rice. It is a reusable item. It allows you to basically drop down rice that you can basically follow if you need to create a path back to a location. However, it's otherwise completely useless. So unless it's the last thing that we have to get, I probably am not going to come back to get it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and move to the next memorial mob. I don't think there was a memorial mob here. There was a memorial mob in Mibu Village. You know what? Yeah, there was. Back at the bottom of the swamp area. We'll go back there here in a minute. Got gene sugar. Always nice to have. We got plenty of pellets at this point. He sells adamantite scrap. And that's actually going to use up all the money that we have. Let me see if there's anything at the other one that we want. And we may go farming. That's weird. I don't know why it found the idol, considering that we have been here before. Alright, then we're going to head down here. Okay. This guy is the real Guardian, eh? I hate those guys. I hate them a lot. Alright, and this, I believe, is the last memorial mob. Is there anything that he has that we want? He's got a couple yellow gunpowder. We got 10 of those. Is there anything we want to sell? I never use the Mibu Balloons of Soul, so I'll sell that. I never use the Mibu Balloons of Spirit, though you can use these for farming them. We have plenty right now, and once we New Game Plus, they'll be back at 10 for their cost. Right now they're at 50, so I would not buy up all of the Spirit Emblems right now. But we can definitely sell the Mibu Balloons. I never use red lumps. I basically never use ceramic shards. So hey, that gives us enough there. We got some scrap iron, 15 scrap iron. We'll buy... let's see, a few of these. 2 of these. Other of these. Cool, we'll go with that. That way we have some stuff to buy whenever we New Game Plus. So obviously you can get upgrades from here as well. We basically have everything at this point, so now it's just time to go ahead and start buying upgrades. You can buy them now, you can buy them after New Game Plus if you want to. Either way, remember that you can only get 6 Lazulite per playthrough. In addition, you can't get any of it if you aren't doing if you are doing the Shura playthrough. So in order to get all of the upgrades, you'll probably have to go through a New Game Plus a 3rd time as well. Otherwise, let's go ahead and head back to Kuro, and we're going to progress into New Game Plus now. So this is the point, by the way, where if you haven't done all of the stuff with regards to Owl, you have to beat Owl to unlock one of the ending options. Once you talk to Kuro here, you'll have to pick one of the options, but you'll have the ability to do each of them if you've done all of them. So, the Divine Dragon Seers, that is the default ending. That is what happens, which will basically cure his invulnerability, but he basically is, well, I'll let you just figure that out. So, long story short, this one is if you don't do anything extra in the game. The Tears and Everblossom. This is what happens if you defeat Owl in the alternate Hirata estate. And then the best ending is Give Dragon Tears and Frozen Tears. And again, we got the Frozen Tears by completing the side quests for the Divine Child. So make sure you've done that if you want to get this ending. Remember though that you can get the Everblossom after the Divine Dragon is dead, but you cannot do that any of the child's stuff, the Divine Child stuff, if you've already killed the Divine Dragon. So I'll go ahead and pick the best ending, and that's going to progress the ending. I'm going to skip all the credits and cutscenes, and now it asks us, do we want to progress into playthrough 2 now? So even if you have given the stuff to Kuro and gotten your ending, you still don't have to progress yet unless you want to. Otherwise, you can do so now if you are ready. So I would say we're ready.
Some 20 years.
So as you can see, we have a little bit more health this time around. We don't have our sword yet, though. So there are some strats we can do, by the way. Speedrun strats. We got our sword back. You can talk to Kuro.
Loyal, what were you? Do you? No, right. There's Lord. I want you. You know, I will.
So now you have the ability to give Kuro's charm. If you give Kuro's charm to him, it will make the game more difficult. So I'm going to leave that to you to decide if that is something that you want to do. You can, if you do give him Kuro's charm, you can get it back later. But once you get it back later, you won't have the ability to give it back to Kuro. So you can go back on your preference here if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and keep it.
I see.
But if you're a masochist, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to grab a pellet. And now you're going to have a very easy beginning to the game because aside from the bosses, none of these fights are going to be hard at all. And even the bosses, they are still going to be easier up to this point, really until you fight the alternate bosses, which I won't spoil until we get there. So by this point, you should pretty much be a master at this game.